So the above image is from the Mill Valley Historical Room, and it shows you a little over 100 years ago that Mill Valley looked really different than what it does today. And the changes are remarkable, and this is back when Mill Valley would burn every 5 to 7 years. A lot of that vegetation, was addressed, and what it looks like today is extremely different. There's never been the amount of fuel on Mount Tam, more fuel on Mount Tam today than there's ever been in history. So how fire moves. One of the big concerns is how do we prevent structures from burning? And I gained a lot of experience in recent fire events, particularly over the last 5 years, of protecting large communities in Sonoma County during the Wine Country Siege and also during the Mendocino complex. And what you have is prevailing winds that pushes a fire. And what you'll have is a fire front, but ahead of that fire front, particularly when it gets into denser vegetation, particularly other structures, is you're going to have ember cast. And once you get structures burning, the size of those embers get bigger, and sometimes they go further. But oftentimes it starts with an ember, which takes off quickly, and then goes direct flame impingement onto the structure. A lot of our structures, particularly in fall, when you start to have a lot of needle death, things that develop in the eave of your roof, in your rain gutters, ground litter, all that stuff, after a wind event in the fall can quickly turn into, boy, I raked that last week, to needing to be raked again. So particularly when you have red flag warnings or other types of events, take the time to address the dead fuel around your structure in your maintained zones. As far as embers, they can travel sometimes a quarter mile ahead of the main fire front. If it's closer, there will be hundreds of thousands of embers potentially falling on your house, and all it takes is one to get in there. And embers can go into really interesting locations. They can be blown into open windows without screens. If you haven't addressed your screens around your house for your eaves and your attic area, they can travel into those types of areas, and they will find a spot. Sometimes there's just a little bit of debris, and 2 out of 3 homes that we've seen were ignited by embers. The importance of having a survivable house, as Mark emphasized, is important because there's not going to be a fire truck at every house. This right here is a video just kind of showing the propagation of embers. And you see the main fire front on the right-hand side, but look over on the left-hand side as this develops. You'll also see that they've turned this street into a one-way to get everybody out. But you can see those little embers and how quickly they take off there.